Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. On today's show, we'll learn more about the growth of New Jersey's largest city from Emily Mance of Invest Newark. But first, Food Circus has been New Jersey's neighborhood grocer for 65 years. Lou Scazzuto Jr., President and CEO of Food Circus, joins us now to tell us more. Lou, welcome to the show.
Hey, Lisa Marie, how are you?
You have a beautiful tan. We are just coming out of summer, and Food Circus is the place to be when you're down the Jersey Shore.
We're right on the shoreline between Seagirt and Port Monmouth with a store located in Atlantic Islands and Red Bank as well. So that's the spot.
Your family has such history down in Monmouth County. Tell us how you got started being the county's local grocery store.
So it goes back almost 100 years now when my grandfather, John Azzolina, migrated over from Italy. And he wound up in Newark as a jewelry polisher, but kind of visited a little town called Highlands, New Jersey. And that's where he opened his first little corner grocery store, candy store as he called it. Brought some goods in from Newark and some surrounding areas and started a little business, and we kind of grew from there. At one point, we were a bigger chain than we are today, but downsized the company a little bit over the years. So we're nearly 100 years from his first little store. Right now, I think we're in about our 97th year. And then we created Food Circus back in 1956 to where we're at today, present day. So I am a third generation grocer.
And that's huge because by the time a lot of businesses get to the third generation, it's kind of iffy, but not with you at the helm. And you're grooming even the fourth generation right now.
Right, right. Yeah, you're right. The third generation is usually called the failure generation for whatever reason may be. But I'm happy to say that the fourth generation is on the horizon now, and very proud of my son and daughter and my niece and my nephew who are actively involved in the business day in and day out. So that kind of helps the whole company out, and it kind of puts me in a position where not that I can kind of take it slow, but I put a lot on them now to kind of take the day in day out stuff away from me.
You mentioned that Food Circus. You got the name in 1956. Interesting name. How did it come to be?
Kind of really what happened was it sounds like no, I wasn't there in 1956, but it sounds like my uncle, my mom, and dad, and I believe my aunt's sister were sitting around a kitchen table, and they just started talking about what was fun and what was good to do, and going to the circus was a fun thing to do, and hence they came up with the name Food Circus. Then after that came the whole famous evil clown of Middletown, but back in the day it wasn't an evil clown, it was a fun clown.
Wait, I don't know about this clown. What's with this
Cool.
clown?
So on our property here in Middletown, which was really the first Food Circus store, there is a giant clown kind of up by the highway, which still stands today, although he's a little bit weather beaten and got a little bit of rust on him, but he's still standing there on the highway, and he's really kind of a landmark.
That is hysterical. I love that. So, you talk a lot about sourcing local, fresh farm foods to provide your customers with. Some new additions being Mary's Chicken and Farmland Produce, which are natural and organic. Tell us more about how you source your food.
So really what we did is, unfortunately, it looks like the Jersey produce season ran out a little sooner than we would have liked it to. We like to really get through the seasonality into, mid to late September. But we did have a good crop this year. Certainly did a great job with cucumbers, tomatoes, corn, peppers, squash, Jersey peaches, yellow and white. The crop was good, but it didn't live that as long as we would have liked it to this year. So it happens. Again, produce is a grown thing, so it all comes down to the weather conditions, whether it's too much rain, not enough rain, too much sun, not enough sun. It was a good season. We were happy with it, but again, not quite as long as we would have liked it. And again, we're very proud to partner up with a lot of local farmers down in South Jersey, more specifically. I think it resonates really well with the clientele that they're, able to get their fresh produce. It's right here from New Jersey. Again, we're the Garden State. We were once very big into our farming, and our farming's still big in South Jersey, not quite as big here in Central Jersey, but still out there and still doing well.
I think all the rage right now, natural and organic, more and more people are woken up to The quality of processed foods and how just terrible it is for us. And I know that you work with Mary's Chicken and farm lined produce. So buying organic is very important to you too.
Oh, 100%. We source as best as we possibly can on organic, on produce, as well as many other items throughout the supermarkets in order to bring the best possible goods and service and organic, to the community. Interestingly enough, now I've got 4 grandkids, and my daughter-in-law and my daughter will really only give the grandkids organic, and that's what it comes down to. Except when they come over to Papa Nana's house, we kind of spoil them a little bit. So, but that's okay.
You could still spoil them. There's plenty. I
Yeah.
mean, now everything is organic, gluten free. I mean, so many brands are hopping on the train, which is amazing.
And it comes out every day, and so we're big into trying to get out to the trade shows where we can to see how much additional natural organic products we could bring in. So every day we're looking. It comes down to what's available and how we can get it and how we can source it, and what suppliers will work with us in order to bring us what we need.
Do you think that's what sets you apart from the bigger chains throughout the state, though, is how you carefully curate what's on your shelves?
I think it's a piece to our success, but really what's more important is that again, we are local. We are that local grocer. We're not the big national powerhouse out there. So I believe that our clientele and our customer base realizes and understands that we live here and we play here. So that kind of, I think, resonates with them a little bit better. In our business, I mean, price is always a very big driving factor. Again, I'm a smaller grocer out here in a land of giants, but it does again resonate with the local community that we've been around for a long period of time. Our families have been here, so I think that brings us the best of both worlds when it comes to trying to continue to do business again in a very tough industry.
I think one of the other ways you get your name out there is how involved you are in the community. I mean, the list of programs that Food Circus is part of, it's endless. I know one of them is the Icon program that you've been part of for 25 years. So tell us more about that impact.
Right. So what we do is we try to always partner up with local charitable venues that we can go after, whether it's lunch break right here in Red Bank, which we do a phenomenal job with Fulfill, with Jersey Shore Partnership, Monmouth County SPCA, K-Hub Children's Hospital. So we get involved with them as best as we can. And what we do through the Icon program is we sell the icons at either $1 or $2 or $5. Our customers are very appreciative of the fact that we're trying to give back to the community. Lots of times what we do is what we bring in, we match, and we kind of send that back off to the charity in order to help them continue to do their research or take care of local families through, helping them with food and what have you. So the ICON program is important to our company. And again, like you had mentioned, we've been doing it for now well over 25 years, and it continues to grow. We try to do about 6 or 7 per year. And again, we do it with as many local charities as we possibly can. Lunch break to me has been a very big part of my life. I was introduced to lunch break when I was probably 25 or 26 years old. We had a small little store in Red Bank, and Red Bank was lunch break rather was just starting up from Mrs. Todd, Norma Todd, who I remember meeting when I was a young guy, and she was able to grow this thing into a pantry that was really big. Lunch break today feeds many parts of Monmouth County, which is significant. I served on the board for a long period of time. We really still try to do a lot with them every day. That's kind of where I think my passion lies with lunch break, and along with Jersey Shore Partnership, which to me has been something which is just an amazing thing to have to deal with.
I was going to mention them because that's where we actually met at their summer celebration at the start of summer in beautiful Sandy Hook. You were actually one of the honorees of the evening, and it was so exciting. Kelsey Grammer was the event MC. It was packed to the gills with so many restaurants, and you obviously had a big presence there as well. Talk about how special it was to be honored by them in your backyard.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, when they reached out, actually, my daughter told me. So my daughter now is actively involved with Jersey Shore Partnership. So they've kind of taken that piece over for me, which is good, and I'm happy that they're doing it. She actually said to me, Dad, you're going to get a notice from Jersey Shore Partnership. They're looking to honor you and honor the business at the event this year. And I was like, Wow, that's great. I mean, never would expect something like that. It's certainly not what we're about. It's always nice to get a recognition, but the whole venue was amazing. You know, they changed it up a little bit from years past. They moved it to a different location, and it was great. I mean, I don't think I walked out of there until about 10 o'clock that night because Brian Kerp kept me going all night. So it was a lot of fun.
What a good cause. I mean, that is something that everybody can agree on. Democrat, Republican, right down the middle, that we want the best beaches and we have to work hard to make sure that they stay pristine.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've got 130 miles of coastline here in Jersey. It's important that, again, that the ocean and the beaches are preserved to the best of our ability. You know, got to be a huge piece of revenue for the state. So again, we got to do what we got to do in order to protect that beach and, keep people coming to the Jersey Shore.
And obviously, that's good for business because I'm sure you see such an uptick during the warm summer months.
Yeah, we luckily in our business we get a nice lift in the summer, which we're certainly appreciative of. Kind of wish we had it all year long, but we don't. But when it comes, it certainly brings a lot of revenue to the business in order to keep the stores moving. So yeah, very important part of the process.
Looking towards the future, as you groom that fourth generation, what are your plans to maybe expand?
I actually have two opportunities right now that we're taking a look at. Again, I'm the smaller grocer. I'm not the big guy out there with the 80,000 square foot stores. Our average store size is around 35,000 square feet now. And if we're going to do more things going forward, we're going to keep it small, keep it tight, and deliver what we know how to do best, right? But looking at opportunities, and I'll always look at opportunities along the shoreline because I think those are the best places to me because that's what I know, that's what I grew up with, and that's really where I want to continue to stay.
You are doing your no proud because, I mean, the way you've just elevated what his vision was all the way then to now, it's just inspiring. I love hearing stories like this.
To say you're third generation in your family's business is amazing. And like I said, I'm very proud of the fourth generation. They've really have taken the bull by the horns right now, and they're doing what they need to do, and definitely making my life easier, which is a good thing.
And you could learn from them, right? Because they're seeing things from a different lens. Their priorities are different. So it's nice to have a mesh of all the different generations as you move forward in business.
I listen to the fourth generation a lot more than I think people would even imagine at this point because, they're the future. They're in their 30s, and they're the shopper now that we want, right? They're the ones now with young families, and that's who we have to kind of gravitate towards this point. So again, I listen to what they have to say, and most times I tell them, listen, you have a thought, you have a passion for it, go with it. Measure the success of it. Not everything you do is going to be a home run, but if you're hitting singles all day, there's nothing wrong with that either. And listen, every now and then something's not going to work, and we're going to be smart enough to know when it doesn't work, we got to get out of it. We got to move into another option at that point.
Exactly. Well, Lou, this was so much fun. I'm happy to be joined with you again. Great New Jersey business story and father and grandfather. Where can people find out more about Food Circus?
Listen, you know what? We're an easy reach. Go right to foodcircus.com, and it'll probably deflect you back to foodtown.com, which is fine. Get as much history on there. See us on social media, on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. We put as much up on social media as we possibly can to learn a little bit more about what it is we do as a family and what it is we do as a company.
Lou, thank you so much. We'll see you down the shore soon.
Okay, it's great chatting with you.
Same here. Thank you.
Take care.
Nothing has ever been handed to me. I've had to work for it. On the field. And off the field. Kane worked with me. Guided me. Helped me climb higher. To get where I belong. To change my life.
Hey, welcome to the team.
Cougars climb higher. Kane University.
Emily Mans, resident of the Roseville section of Newark, is the Chief Business Development Officer and Director of Marketing for Invest Newark. Emily joins us now to share more. Emily, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I love how Invest Newark is supporting entrepreneurs in opening new businesses in a city that is totally booming. How do you help them?
Thank you. So yes, I'm the Chief Business Development Officer and Director of Marketing at Invest Newark, and we're the Economic Development Corporation for the City of Newark. So we work closely with Mayor Baraka and the City of Newark to do just what you said, help small businesses, entrepreneurs in this city open, grow, thrive, and invest further in making this a community that offers amenities for residents, workers, and students. So I'm very excited about the educational programs that we offer for entrepreneurs, the grant opportunity we recently offered to entrepreneurs, and just the variety of support, permitting support, licensing support, connections to other nonprofits in the city that we're able to provide to this population.
Everything you mentioned is so important because when you have that business idea, it's so hard to figure out where to start. So it sounds like you kind of handhold the entrepreneur into getting all of their ducks in a row.
Yes. So Newark is, rich in organizations that support entrepreneurs and businesses. And so we like to think of ourselves at Invest Newark as kind of that top of the funnel. So people come here and they can connect with one of our team members, and then they can, refer them to the person that might be best for them, whether it's Invest Newark and our kind of services, grant program that, again, we just finished, our loan programs, or maybe it's a micro lender that we work with, like Greater Newark Enterprise Corporation. Maybe it's an educational program with the NJSBDC or the SBA. So, we know we might not be able to meet everybody's needs, but we know somebody in the city that can. So that's a big part of our role is providing that guidance and directional support to people that are looking for support in our city, because we are rich in people that are trying to help the business community grow and help entrepreneurs start businesses.
Talk about the educational programs that you provide.
We offer a number of educational programs here. One is called Language of Capital. We run that with banking partners, most recently Valley Bank. We ran a number of cohorts with, and that program is for anybody. It's online, it's a Zoom, it's live, and it's you might have just an idea and you want to learn more about how to create a business plan, what is sales, what is marketing, what is equipment financing. You can kind of plug into that program. If you attend a certain number of them, you can compete for a grant at the end. And then our other program is for businesses that are a little more established. So you have to have another employee. You have to have at least $100,000 in revenue. That's called the Executive Business Accelerator. It's done with a national curriculum called Interrise. And we have, just one graduate that I love to talk about is Florence Dennis. She runs a company called Flo's Tasty Treats. It's a snack company. She's, at the moment on the verge of some incredible contracts in big box stores across the country and manufacturing her snacks right here in Newark. So, we love that these programs, they provide education, but they also create a great network for the business owners. It can be a little lonely being an entrepreneur sometimes, and these programs give them a community of people that are facing the same challenges. So that's an important part of our programs.
That is super huge because when you first start a business, people around you don't really get it, and they don't really get why you want to work, 90 hours a week and not want to go out anymore. And, it's tough in the beginning, and you're so passionate and you're so eager to get things going. So it's great to have that support system.
Yes.
What are the types of businesses that Newark is attracting? You mentioned a lot of food, which I love. What else is Newark attracting these days?
We recently wrapped up a program called the Newark Retail Reactivation Grants, and that was really focused on kind of increasing the number of amenities, making our arts education district, even more 24/7. So there was a number of food businesses in that cohort that will provide kind of bars and restaurant opportunities, even more so in that district. But we also are looking for businesses that provide services for children. So, for instance, we were just fortunate to attend a ribbon cutting of a new childcare facility, One Step Ahead, expanded here to Newark into the Junction at Gateway. Wonderful entrepreneur, a Black-owned business, woman-owned business. Two of the grantees in our recent retail reactivation grants. One was a kind of STEAM education program, Bricks for Kids, Essex County. She's been doing this work in Newark resident for many years, but hasn't had like a home in our city to offer those kind of Bricks for Kids workshops. There was a Montessori school That was granted, also Black owned, also woman led. So we're excited about some of those offerings in the city, especially as a parent myself. It's nice to see these children focused businesses coming into the city too.
As a parent myself, I love that too. You've mentioned the grants. Where does Invest Newark get the funds to provide grants for business owners?
Sure. So we were really fortunate. We are the Zone Development Corporation for the city of Newark, and Newark is one of the many urban enterprise zones across the state. And so we were able to work closely with DCA, Urban Enterprise Zone staff, to craft a program that kind of met their needs and our needs in the community to create this grant program.
You also invite people to experience the city. And I know that you have your 4th annual restaurant week coming up. Last year, over 70 restaurants participated, which is amazing. Tell us what's happening this year.
So we're very excited that, Restaurant Week is back. It is October 25th through November 3rd. So it's a Friday through a Sunday. So we want to capture two whole weekends. Like you said, 70 restaurants participated last year. We surveyed participants. We surveyed restaurant owners after last year. We got some great feedback that they wanted a digital pass. We had kind of a paper passport last year. It was very cute, but they wanted digital. So this year we have a digital pass that we've seen work in restaurant weeks across the country. We also, that pass will have a map on it so people can really see, where the restaurants are, what restaurant might be near to one that they're currently dining at. And also, we're excited to say that there'll be prizes. So if you go to a certain number of restaurants and you use your pass, there'll be some prizes there for you that we'll be excited to announce a little bit closer. Some of the restaurants that are participating already, again, we just started kind of recruiting that base of restaurants again, but we have Solmar, a great seafood restaurant in Newark's Ironbound section. Folks might be familiar with. They, love Restaurant Week, participate every year. We've got a vegan restaurant, actually a number of vegan restaurants run by Rashina Burrows, Blueberry Cafe, and her multiple businesses throughout the city will be participating. Tinjun, which is kind of like a hot, night spot in downtown, great food right in the heart of everything. And then Oh My Goodness, which is a kind of a cool hole in the wall sandwich spot, great big platters of food over in Newark's West Ward. So there's going to be something for everybody at Newark Restaurant Week.
And it sounds like it blankets the entire city.
It does. Yes, we're very intentional about that. All of our work at Invest Newark, we love to highlight just the entrepreneurs that are, in every ward of our city. We're the biggest city in New Jersey. We've got 5 wards full of business owners, full of restaurant owners. So yes, we're very intentional about that. It's important to Invest Newark and also to Mayor Baraka and, all of our work to expose these entrepreneurs that are in every corner of our city doing great work and making good food.
Throughout the year, you also do walking tours, food tours, bar crawls. Talk about those pop-up events that happen throughout the year through Invest Newark.
So we work a lot with, through that, we work a lot with corporations. We work a lot with schools. We love making sure that, employees here in the city know where to go for lunch. You're not always just at the cafeteria, you're really getting out there. We love particularly love working with students, and our co-founder and our tour guides worked a lot with students this year. And that's just great to instill kind of pride in the city that they're from, learn a lot about the history of our city, and just, hopefully, right, with my economic development hat on, hope that they stay here and invest, maybe open their own businesses, but, choose to stay in Newark after graduation and keep all that great Newark talent here.
Well, before we wrap, I want to learn more about your story. How did you land in Newark, and what made you so passionate?
Sure. So I'm originally from Northeastern Connecticut, and I went to graduate school for urban planning at Rutgers, and I actually interned at this same organization during that time period. So it was a great opportunity. I was, in my early 20s. Just took every opportunity that was provided to go meet people, to attend events. And I created a really great kind of a network for myself. And it, became to be where all my friends were, where all the events that I wanted to be were. And it's just been a place where everyone is trying to make things better. Everyone is like working towards, I'd say, common goals here in Newark. and it's a very positive kind of energy to be part of. So that's what really attracted me, I think, and kept me here, is just that kind of energy and that sense of community.
Well, Emily, where can business owners interested in coming to Newark find out more about you?
Yes, so investnewark.org. You can go, you can learn more about Newark there, you can learn more about our services, and also the other services of Invest Newark. So definitely follow us on Instagram, Invest Newark, LinkedIn, Invest Newark. We are on all those platforms, sharing good information and resources, on a daily basis. So would love to have more followers there.
Emily, this was so much fun. Thank you so much. And we have to shout out Suzanne Spiro from the Amelia Foundation for connecting us.
Yes, thank you so much. And thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.
Nothing has ever been handed to me. I've had to work for it. On the field. And off the field. Kane worked with me. Guided me. Helped me climb higher. To get where I belong. To change my life.
Hey, welcome to the team.
Cougars climb higher. Kane University.